Beloved, most humans move through reality reacting to the field after it has already organized around them. The same fears, the same patterns, the same limitations repeating in different forms, over and over. And slowly, the nervous system begins expecting life to happen to them instead of through them. But beloved, reality is responding to you constantly with no delay. Fear is not just emotion. Fear is orientation. It is direction. It organizes attention toward limitation, collapse, survival. And because consciousness influences the field in real time, reality begins shaping itself around those expectations with extraordinary precision. The body scans for evidence. The mind reinforces the pattern. The field responds. Now feel the shift. A conscious creator moves differently. A conscious creator understands that expectation influences possibility itself. The moment your state changes, perception changes. And the moment perception changes, entirely new pathways become visible that literally could not enter awareness before. This is why alignment feels effortless. You stop forcing life into predetermined outcomes and begin moving with the intelligence of the field itself. The right people appear. The next step reveals itself. Synchronicities increase. Life becomes responsive, alive, interactive, because you are participating consciously instead of resisting your own expansion. Flow is coherence in motion. The body softens, attention stabilizes, intuition sharpens, and reality begins communicating through resonance, timing, patterns, signs. The analytical mind wants guarantees before movement, yet the simulation reveals itself through participation, through trust, through embodied movement within uncertainty. This is why your greatest reality often exists beyond what your conditioned mind believes is possible. The old identity can only perceive from memory. Consciousness can perceive entirely new worlds. So life stops becoming about chasing outcomes. Life becomes creation, exploration, play. A living conversation between your awareness and the intelligent field responding to it. And the more coherent you become, the more effortlessly reality reorganizes around your presence. This is mastery. And if something inside you is responding while hearing this, that is because your system is already remembering how to create consciously. We rise.
Greetings to the Conscious Collective. Thank you for joining me for this conversation. We're going to be doing a reading on the glow up was crazy. That's going to be our subject of our Sacred Symbols Oracle card reading today. So thank you for joining me for that. We're going to discuss that and see what kind of guidance we can get from our card on the glow up was crazy. But first, we have a couple of things that we talk about. We have general conversations. And so I want to share my thoughts with the Conscious Collective and my opinions on things and get feedback from the Conscious Collective. I don't know if you guys have seen this picture floating around. Let me bring it up to the stage. Has anyone seen this AI? They say it's an AI generated picture, right? But is it really AI generated? You know, we like to assume it is because some of us are still in doubt about it. But maybe it is AI, but maybe it is part of the whole plan that's coming up on they call the movie Disclosure Day that Steven Spielberg is releasing. But maybe the whole plan is a psyop operation. In reality, what we assume is a lot of false narrative put out. It is actually to discredit the true narrative that is coming about or going to be revealed. And so this is something that has been released along with the release of government files and all those things along those lines. But also, I had, because I was trying to put it, Divine Rising, Sister 25. I just said I'm going to write these numbers down because I think it was some some confusion yesterday about what numbers came up. And so I'm going to write those numbers down so I won't have any confusion about it. All right. We have 25. Thank you for joining me for this conversation. Right. So I ask that you come in and you actually tell me what number comes up in our reading. You can see on the bottom of our cards, there are numbers. So tell me what numbers come up on the reading, and I will give you a free 45-minute, 30 minutes to 45-minute chakra assessment, online chakra assessment, if you can guess what number comes up in our 5-card reading. But thank you for joining me for this conversation. But I was asking the collective, have you seen this image that is AI generated, or is it AI generated? Is it part of the psyops? Is it to confuse? That's why discernment is going to be so important as we enter this age of discovery, as things start to be revealed. There are going to be a lot of information out there, and we just gravitate to what's sensational, not really trying to delve deeper into is it true or not, because this is how they're going to actually, this is actually, I don't know what that is, P47, actually are going to go about putting a lot of information, throwing a lot of information at you, so you don't really know what the truth is of some things, right? But things are going to be revealed. But what's funny about this image, and we're going to have a conversation on some other things, but I just wanted to bring this up in the collector. What was funny about this image was I asked AI, I wanted to put it in this aspect. It's called 9 semicolon 16, which is a long IG format. All right. And I wanted to, I got the image in a larger, wider format, and I wanted to make it more neater. You know how sometimes I bring up images and they're wide. I want to bring this image up neater. So I asked AI to make it in the 9:16 format, which just means take the same image and kind of, make it narrow so it fits better in the slot, right? And what AI came back was with this image, right, which was totally different. And I said, okay, why did you change the image? And it gave me a bunch of keeping certain elements or keeping the whole theme of the image together. And I'm like, okay, so what is the real image? Did AI change it back to the real image? You understand where I'm going with this? This is the image they put out, right? And it looks like, kind of artificial and, muscular body and a large head. This image seemed to be more realistic of the grays, right? It seemed to be more realistic of the grays, right? And so I'm wondering, are they taking images and they're AI in their image, and then when I AI the image back, it came into the correct image? I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I thought it was just weird about that, that it actually changed the image to something that was more relatable and believable. And they were actually using AI, because if you look at their AI, this part right here, the chain, if you look at AI pictures, you can see small little things that are off with the AI picture, right? So the chain doesn't really complete here, but this AI seemed to be more of a realistic picture. And I was just using Gemini. So that's crazy. I don't know if that's something to that or not. But let's get into our topic today. This video was sent to me, and I wanted to share it along with a larger topic I want to have about everything that's going on. Let me see if I can call this video up.
It's not her job to love you. I was given a message that told me that it's not her job to love you.
Now, that's an interesting way to start. And I want to stop it right there because I haven't seen the whole video, but I really want to talk about it point by point. right? That men really shouldn't be looking for love. You understand what I'm saying, right? I think Mike Tyson said, right. Let me bring up that what Mike Tyson said. I want to quote this correctly. All right, hold on one second. Mike Tyson's quote on love and mothers. Let me see. Okay, so he said, men, we look for our mother and our lover, but our mother could never be our lover. It said, men, we look for our mother and our lover, but our mother could never be our lover because our lover could never love us like our mother. So he was actually saying we look for the same type of love in our relationships as we do that we got from our mother, right? It could never be saying it's not in the woman to love us like our mother loved us. Everything she does for you is for her survival. And everything your mother does for you is for your survival. Think about that. Everything she does for you is for her survival. Everything your mother did for you was for your survival. And so we look for our love like our mother used to love us, but our mother could never love us. Our lovers could never love us like our mothers could. And we keep expecting that from them. We get into these relationships and we keep expecting the love from these women. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was just thinking about you, right? We look for these relationships from our mothers in our lovers. So stick with me here, right? Right? We want the type of love, right, that we got from our mothers from the person that we're in love with. But they can't operate like that. They can't operate like that because everything that a woman that you with now is doing for her own good. She's with you for her good, right? But your mother did everything for your good. So those two things are incompatible. So I'm saying as men, we should not be looking for that type of love, right? We should be protecting and caring for the feminine energy, but not looking for the love to be returned. I think a lot of men are too sensitive, right? And sometimes because they're raised by women exclusively, they become too sensitive. Where men are supposed to be more serious and more straightforward, right? I know when I was raising my son, and I told this story before, right? I was raising my son and we're driving, the windows down, and the ugliest bug, this must be a mutant bug. I ain't never seen a bug like this. It had to be a mutant bug. Landed on my arm. My son started to scream. I was like, before I even moved the bug, I was like, calm down, man. Right? And I flicked the bug off out the window. And so we drove a little bit farther. And he said, Dad, were you scared? I said, yes, I was scared. I didn't know what the hell that mutant bug was. But we have to learn to be calm. Right? You notice how like sometimes, and this is not to slander anyone, but sometimes like if women are driving and there's like it's an accident or something, women will let go and try to cover their face, and like where men are trying to steer through it. You know what I'm saying? It's because right, we have to be in a place of stoicism. We have to be more critical and more kind of steely. Right? It's just the nature of what we should be, right? And so if we're looking for love and we're in that emotional connection, I know people say, well, we want men to be emotional intelligent. I think there's a caveat to that because if you see a man crying, a man, to me, okay, when women cry, they release a certain chemical that affects men, right? Hold on one second. Let me see. What is that chemical that women release when they cry that affects men? Women's tears contain an odorless chemical signal that lowers testosterone in men, resulting in significant reduced male aggression and lower levels of sexual arousal. So when women cry, it lowers men's testosterone, right? And you know that's where we get our aggression from, right? And so when you have a woman who's been aggressive, that increases it. But when women start to cry, it lowers us and it makes us, more defenseless, right? Now we don't even get how most men operate in sexual arousal, and we don't even have that. We have this protective mode that comes about. See, I really can't stress how much power that you already have that you have forgotten, or that you have been, wiped from your memory or denied you. But if you ever seen a man cry, right, it is not a pleasant sight. It is not something that actually gives you pity, right? Even women, right, who say, well, I would like a man sensitive. If a man starts to cry, and everyone loves Tyrese, for example. Everyone likes Tyrese, a great actor, well, a pretty good actor, great singer, right? But everyone says he cries way too much. And he's like, you guys want me to be sensitive, but then you complain about me crying. That's interesting, right? You complain about me crying, and because you really don't want men crying. That's just my impression, right? You really don't want men crying. You want them to be more stoic and more serious about matters, right? But a woman crying is something that really affects you as a man, right? And most men, I'm not using this to cover everything. I'm just talking in generalization. So when men are looking for women, from love for women, I think that's an incorrect approach of the situation. There should be some protection, defense of it, right? Bonnie, welcome. I'm writing down the numbers. Oh, as you guys come in, tell me what numbers coming up. I'm going to be more notable of it. I'm offering a free chakra alignment. I didn't write it down yesterday. I think there was some kind of confusion about it. So if you're coming in and you're part of this conversation, I'm going to do a card reading. Tell me what number, and then the one that gets the number of the 25 that we pick is going to get a free chakra alignment session. It's usually 30 to 45 minutes of that chakra alignment session. I'm going to offer that as raffled off for those who tap in and let me know the right number, right? So we were talking about this video, and we're talking about how men are not supposed to be seeking love from women. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that if that becomes your point, it can make you way too sensitive, right? We quoted Mike Tyson, hold on, of how he said that everything a woman does is for her survival. If she's with you, if a woman is with you, she's with you for her survival. And don't take offense at the words, right? Just think about it, right? She sees you as a provider. She sees you as someone that can defend her. She sees you in all these other ways, right? And she may love you for that. But men expect that love, because there's 7 different types of love, okay? And men expect that love to be the kind of love they got from their mother. That's not the love she's giving you. She's not giving you the love that you got from your mother. And men expect that, right? But as he was saying, that women are doing everything for her survival, but your mother loves you and does everything for your survival. You understand the difference in those two things? And that's why we need to understand that first as we move into understanding the feminine and divine energy as to why women love you and why you receive 2 different types of love from a woman. Your mother will do everything for you for your survival. That's in her nature. That's one type of love, right? The other type of love is when you're with a partner, she's doing everything for her benefit, not as a negative, but she knows that she may enter a state of pregnancy, for example, and be vulnerable. So she needs to find something that kind of I keep saying go back to nature and you'll find the answers to everything. Right? She understands that she is not as strong as maybe a man, right? So she needs men who are strong, right? So she's doing things for her survival in this instance. But when she has a child, she does everything for their survival. For some reason, if you look at your timeline on these social media platforms and you just hear something for 15 minutes, for 5 seconds, it starts coming up. That's all. If you stare for 5 seconds, the algorithm got you. And it keeps like, oh, you like that? You like that? You're like, that. Damn, I just looked at it for a minute. And now the whole timeline is filled with that, which is crazy work because social media was fine. You saw what your friends were doing. You learned the new things. But now it's like, let me just force feed you whatever you're interested in. And you're like, I'm interested in a lot of things. All right? Exactly. A mother's love is unconditional. Right? It says I'm interested in a lot of things. Am I lagging or anything? Please let me know if I'm lagging. Because I can't, I don't see the comments right away. All right. So I've been looking at these nature shows of animals catching animals, attacking animals, nature being nature, the circle of life. Woo! Nature is brutal. Nature is brutal, right? The way those alligators and tigers and whatever hunt and catch animals, and you got this one where it was this rhino or something with a little baby rhino, and a jaguar was in a tree, and I don't think they knew it was in a tree, and it jumped out of the tree, grabbed the little animal and ran up the tree, and the mother rhino was like trying to get to it, and it's like it's instinctual to protect the young, right? To do anything unconditionally for that protection of the young. And I'm saying this because men confuse the love that they receive from their partners as the love that they got from their mothers. And those are two different types of relationships. So he was saying that it is not her job to love you as a partner, right? And men need to stop focusing on that, right? Maybe honor you, respect you, but not to love you as they love their children. I saw a video of a rabbit trying to distract a snake from a... Yeah, it's just instinctual. If we want the answers to anything, just look at nature. Look at nature. Nature is brutal, but you see, you can learn a lot of lessons. Remember, I told you, and I firmly believe the evidence of God, the evidence of the way we should be living, what we should be following is already laid out as a blueprint to us. And we just need to observe what has already existed in our reality. We know female bring forth life. That already exists. We are counter to that. Everything we do, we're supposed to be more suitable for outdoors, but since we live in environments, we're not suitable for it. We should be almost able to eat anything. I see animals eat anything, but they have the microorganisms and the microbiology to protect them, right? Greetings, Mercedes. Greetings. They have the organisms to protect them, and that is what keeps them safe. We can barely eat anything without getting an upset stomach, all right? Because we are so removed from what's natural, all right? So we're talking today about men should not be expecting love from women in a sense of how they got it from their mothers. I think a lot of women really need to understand why some relationships seem to be very stressful. And it's because she's asking your numbers, Mercedes. Remember, we're doing a free reading based on the numbers of the card. I'm giving away a free chakra alignment session, 30 to 45 minutes for those that pick Okay. I have no idea what that means. So we were talking about how sometimes a relationship can be very stressful because the man is expecting you to love him as his mother loved him, but it's not in the nature, right? A woman loves for her survival, but for her children, she gives that love, and that love becomes something else. There are 7 different types of love, and we're just discussing 2 of them. But let me go ahead. I think I done beat that horse 1 through 50. Yes, 1 through 50. I done beat that horse well.
And I know this is going to hurt, but you're going to understand. And you don't have to reply or anything. Just DM me just a heart if you understand what I'm saying. It is your job to love her. It's your job. You're supposed to use divine love to love your woman or love your wife. This is why you bend the knee. This is why she gets to make the choice to say.
So he's saying, I'm writing it down because there was some confusion yesterday about the numbers. So I want to make sure I have the right numbers, right? Right. That this is the reason she makes the choice. This is the reason you bend the knee, right? Is because you are to submit to loving her. She is not obligated to loving you, right? But you are submitting to loving her. That is the role that is played, right, in nature, in our biology. And I want to bring it into a spiritual space of where she's supposed to be the center of that protection as we start to understand the correct role, right? I'm going to challenge you guys to throw out everything you think you know about the system and how things are aligned and kind of be open to rethinking it, right? That it is God, the woman, the man, and the children, as opposed to the system telling you it was God, the man, the woman, right? We are coming to a place of a better understanding of our roles, and this is challenging to a lot of people and may be challenging to a lot of women, right? 44. Hey, 77 came in. 77 came in. Mercedes, 77 came in. I was off by one number. The 77s came in. I had 21, 77. It was 77, 2 and 1, but I was off by one number, I think. But I know the 77s came in. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes or no, using her wisdom and discernment. You love her like a man is supposed to love God, but the church switched it around. It is her job to love herself and to love her children.
Now, let's put a little caveat in that really quick, right? Right? Came in your area too? Because I know it came in my area. The church, the system switched it around and made it suit their narrative, right? We are supposed to be, that is the God that we should worship, is in the woman. I know a lot of women are running to their ego on this, and I'm trying to explain that you have to be in that correct form, right? And that's not an egotistical way. The woman is not an ego-driven individual when they're in their correct form, right? But so before you start finger clapping and saying, yes, brother, understand that a lot of women don't operate in that divine energy. I see peaks of it in a lot of people I talk to. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But you guys thumb up this video and please subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and just let me know that this resonates with you, okay? But all this has been switched around. But you notice in their own Christian teaching, it said the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Everything's going to be revealed. Right now, we peer through a glass darkly. We're going to start seeing things more clearly, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. How you know the truth? It hurts. You can feel the truth. A lie feels good. A lie makes you feel good, but the truth, right, is something that's hard to swallow sometimes, okay?
That is who she is supposed to love.
So I wanted to say, I know I remember what I'm going to say, right? So yes, we are supposed to be loving her as God, as the vessel. And I like to come back to this word. What is a vessel? It's a container. A vessel is a container. And we're supposed to love her as the container of God. We got to love her as the container of God. When she empowers that in Christ's consciousness, we love her as the container of God, the vessel of God. Okay? That's the closest thing we know in our reality to God. But in return, right? She loves her creations. She loves her children. So if all humanity is her children, she's going to love them in such a giving, caring love, right? Not in the love of a relationship, but in more of a nurturing type of love. So I want to make a distinction a little bit from what he's saying.
The generational curse is broke. The generational curse made it so some women started to love the man instead of loving their children.
We know in our own reality, in our current reality, any man seeking love, validation, or control is operating in his ego. I said at the beginning of this conversation, men should not be seeking love. They should be seeking honor and respect. But to seek love, right, should not be in our nature like that. Right? To care, to protect should be more of our nature. To teach, to guide, but not to be, do you love me, baby? Do you love me? Like, dude, if you're constantly asking that, right? What needs healing in you? Right? A lot of people say, right, healing the male wound. That male wound is expecting love, which is not of your nature of a man to expect love from things. This is why Father's Day is not a big deal to most men. Father's Day is not a big deal to most men. We joke about it, but I tell my children all the time, I don't want anything. You know what Father said? I want you to be good. That's what I want you to be, boy. Can you be good? We don't. I mean, you should. Mother's Day is about loving and honoring your mother because she has given everything to you. And even though fathers gave you the material, we should not be like, I'm mad on Father's Day. What are you mad about, Dad? Y'all didn't give me nothing. Dude, is that how you operate? Is that how you move? That's how you see your responsibility to your family as something transactional, right? As something that should be returned to you. I did this, and I've been coming across a very strange scenario as I've been counseling and working with people of men keeping records of things. I've heard this a couple of times, maybe about 6 or 7 times, and I'm like, and I'm listening, and I'm like, this is a weird phenomenon that men are actually keeping notes and records and using it as a transactional means to say, you know, this is how much I expect back. See, because we are so clueless about love, right? And because we have a critical mind, we think love can be valued some kind of way. There's some stock market that you can go to or some store and say, give me 30 pounds of love. I got $10, you know, and we're not talking about sexual affection or favors or whatever the hell they're doing. You can pay for that, but that's not love. You know what's the funny thing about that relationship? that relationship when men go and they purchase, women for, I guess we can say sex here on this show. I don't know. They might ban me again, right? Is that women like that don't let you kiss them. Ain't that weird, right? They'll sell the most intimate part of them, right? And they do that as a transactional, but they will not give you the kiss. They will not kiss you because what? The kiss represents love. So you can't kiss a prostitute. And it's strange because you can have sex with them, but they will not kiss you. And the thing is that, yeah, you can satisfy your physical needs, right? But if you're looking to think that love has some type of monetary value to it, that you can calculate it, right? That you can calculate it, it's crazy work. She. It's crazy work that you think you can calculate it and say, this is what I have spent on it, and this is what I deserve in return. How do you do the math on that? That don't even compute no kind of way, right? So how does the math on that, right? Because if that is true, right, that you can charge, you say I spent this amount for this and I deserve this amount of love, right? Then how much do you owe your mother? It's immeasurable. It is immeasurable. If you say I love this woman and I've given her this much and I expect this much back, right? So your mother, you could never repay that. That's why those things can't be calculated together. That's the point. So you can't get into that trap. And I think a lot of men are getting into that trap, right? Because our society is demanding more and more. All right. And a lot of women are getting into that trap thinking that there's some value monetarily that the man could give you, but but they're comparing it to other men's values, and it will never match up. There's always going to be someone that has more value in certain areas than you that you should be providing for that.
And loving themselves. And then little boys grew up without that love that they're supposed to get from their mother. Your wife or your girlfriend is not your mother. You cannot use her to try to pull the love out of her that you never got from your mother. You are supposed to love her so
And that is the male wound right there. And don't use it as a
that she loves herself.
And don't use it as an attack point, right? But a lot of men, it's not that you didn't get it from her. And that's why I said we need to be very careful on how we phrase things. It's not that you didn't get it from her, right? It's that you expect it. You expect it from your partner. You expect the love that you got from your mother, from your partner. It's not people like, well, your mother must have hurt you. No, your expectations of what you're receiving is wrong. You're putting all women in the same box, and you said my mother would have done anything for me, so I now expect you to do anything for me, but she doesn't love you like she would love her children. And I think men's expectations of it need to be tweaked a little bit. I charge for every time your nervous system is irregular because that's a huge impact. I understood that. Grover Mercedes says, I charge for every time your nervous system is irregular. You know what's funny? A woman does regulate your nervous system. If she's calm and in peace, right? She can calm you, right? Because there's a huge impact on mine. How about that? All right. I think that's a good point.
When you walk down the street and you walk on a side where the cars are passing by, whenever you go to the store and you drop her off at the front, when you pay for her things, when you open the car door, it trains her subconscious to understand that she's important and that she should be loved and treated with respect that way. And then in turn, she loves herself.
And that's why I say we operate against our nature, because our natural nature is defense and protection. I saw this meme once, right, where this guy was walking through this parking lot with his girlfriend or his IG video, or his wife. She didn't say who she was, right? And she's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the movie." This is what she's thinking in her head. "Oh, I can't wait to see the movie. I think it's gonna be a good movie. I'm glad to be out." Blah 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 blah. And he's thinking, he's scanning every threat in the parking lot. Yeah, what that hype up to? Keep an eye on that. What's going on over here? Keep an eye on that. That's your role, right? That's your nature. This is why you have bigger muscles. This is why you have stronger bones, because your very physical makeup is the protector. If it wasn't that way meant to be, then it wouldn't matter who was stronger. You have some women strong, some men thin, but most men in general are bigger and strong because that is much more of their nature. I know we can get into these frail little men, but we're talking about plastic and their diet and things like that. I don't know what's going on. Like, I ain't like Shaq, but god damn, these men are little. Damn, they tiny. It's crazy. Yeah, I know why you don't wear a belt, bro. Because you're going to have to wrap that 2-3 times around you. Work on your diet, right? Take some testosterone shots or something, man. I get it. They're not built for that. They're not built for it, right? But that is their role. That's supposed to be what they're supposed to be doing. That protective mode. That's why you made this way. You're made bigger and stronger because you are automatically put in a protective role.
And in everything you do.
All I am is discussing nature and comparing it to the reality of what we should be doing or how things should be operating. And as we move into a 5D consciousness, it's all related to me. As we move to a higher state of consciousness, we need to understand the correct roles. We need to throw away the lies. People are like, well, the veil is thinning. Yeah, you want to close the veil now, don't you? You don't want this truth. You do not want this truth. I want to say, right, I love the way this man delivered it, right? Because it because of his physical appearance, in my opinion, right? Because of his physical appearance, it forces you to listen to the words coming out of his mouth, because there's no other appeal, right? This is not a Tay Diggs, right? Or a Morris Chestnut, right? So we have to kind of listen to what he's saying, right? It's this funny thing. I had someone tell me about their personal trainer, right? That he was, they thought he was a little too provocative. Like he said, like, get those legs up. You get those legs up higher, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I don't hear anything he's saying provocative, right? And then I got a chance to see him, right? And he was not the most attractive man in the world. He was big and just wasn't appealing, right? Physically. And I said, oh, I get it. I get it. So if Morris Chestnut is saying, get them legs up, oh, it's funny. Morris. But soon some regular guy, like, that don't look like, say, get them legs up, all of a sudden you're offended. The messenger matters. The messenger matters, okay? If it's somebody, oh, he's just so cute. He can say, pretty boys can say almost anything. Pretty boys can say almost anything. And I don't know what you're talking about, all right? No, we don't think aliens are demons, so hold those thoughts. You're on the wrong page. You're on the wrong page. You might want to go somewhere else. We don't think aliens are demons here. So anytime it's some pretty boy, they can get away with almost. And so pretty women can get away with a lot of things because we so superficial. And the more attractive you are, and to attract this has more to do with symmetric. We like things that are very symmetric. That's what, when they boil down what's attractive, it's just something very symmetric, right? Right. Brother Gino, whose brother did I fill out this? See with Brother Gino. Well, you have to focus. I think this is Brother Gino. I don't know this guy's name. All right. We get the message because we're looking at him. We're looking at it. Even though I think that, if he was more attractive, they'd be like, yes, girl, yes, girl, you know. But I like it that he's not, because that means we just focus on the message. Okay, I got you. I got you. But it's because we're so superficial. I think the more attractive a person is, the more they can get away with. Where, like say you're walking around a store and you keep running into the same person, and they're attractive, and you're like, we just keep running into each other. Oh, we just keep running into each other, right? But if you walk around a store and you're running into the same person and they're not attractive, you're like, freak, why are you following me? I'm getting the manager. You following me? Like, what? You are following me. Okay. That man is a crazy thing. That man is a crazy thing.
Everything you say to her should reflect her to even love herself even more, even if she doubted it from the beginning. When you tell her things like, you're so smart, this family is so great to have you. But instead, because you didn't have that love, instead you try to manipulate her to thinking that she is not worthy of love. So
One caveat on that. I think because a lot of men use that as a way to get into women, and I literally mean get into women, right? A lot of women become traumatized by that. And if you tell them they're smart and you're attracted, they're very skeptical of it. They're very cautious of it because it's been used so many times, right, to get into them, to be insincere about them. So I kind of think that's a caveat, right? Well, that's not always the case because they are already traumatized. And I call that hotepping. We have a lot of people in the spiritual space now who are just hotepping, right? Because they are trying to just get ahead or be closer to the woman in some way. So they will flatter her, right? And so a lot of women get very cautious of that.
she stays. And you know what you're doing. Because when you do that to her, you take away the love that she's supposed to give to herself and to her children. It is not her job to love you. Because when the ship starts to sink and they scream, women and children, get on a boat first, get on the safety boats first, she needs to be able to give you a hug and a kiss and take the children and protect herself and protect the womb and protect the matrix and protect the children. If she loves you more than she loves herself or her children, the whole family unalives on that boat.
That's diabolical. That's diabolical. I don't know. That's diabolical. Can you imagine being on a sinking boat, a sinking ship, right? And she says, gives you that hug and kiss. And you standing there like, ooh, that's where you're supposed to be. That's where your mental capacity that's where you're supposed to reside in. At any moment, be willing to give up your life. And I said yesterday, right? If you haven't checked out the video yesterday, right? Go check it out. It goes beyond giving up your life, but living your life in defense of it. Living your life in protection of it. I think that is one of the main things that's wrong with the so-called Black community. A lot of men are not willing to live their life, let alone give up their life in protection of the most critical part of our community. The one that brings forth the life, that teaches the life. We're so busy about being loved like our mama loved us. That was a moment in time. And if your mama's alive, she still loves you to this day. But she is not your partner in that relationship. And that's not what your obligation should be for. We're going to come back to the truth of it. We're going to get to the truth of it, whether you like it or not. Whether men like it or not, right? Whether women don't understand it or not, we're going to come back to the truth because that's the only way we get to a higher state of being. That's the only way we get to a higher state of consciousness. That's I don't know what that means, Nicole. That's in a vacuum. I need more context to that.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You know better than this. You know you're not supposed to do that. And you do it to these women, and you do it and you do it, and it still does not fill the void that you have. That's the love missing that you never got from your mother.
Again, I don't think it's just misinterpreting. Maybe it's, in some situation is the love that you did not get from your mother, but I think a lot of time is misinterpreted that you keep expecting her to be your mother. You keep expecting that love, right? Even if you had a mother, right? You keep expecting that love that your mother gave you from a woman that's not her job in that situation. Her job is not to love you like her children. She's incapable of that. She's going to love you like she loves humanity as one of her children, humanity, but not like the love that you expect that your mother gave you. And that's the way we have to make that distinction. We have to be very clear. These are two different types of love. I said earlier, there's 7 types of love. Those are different loves.
You know better, and you know what I am saying. You know exactly what I am saying. Men say it differently. They say things like, well, they don't love us like we love them, etc., because you're not worthy of their love.
Again, if you have the expectation that a woman should love you like you love her, right? I think you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're trying to evaluate it or expect it in return like you love her, right? You're supposed to love her to the point of giving up your life. What sense would it make her to love you to the point of giving up her life when she is the one that brings life into the world? Think about it. Use your common sense, as my guy R. Kelly said. Use your common sense. If they gone, we all gone. If they give up their life, we all gone. If the queen dies, there is no more nest. So she cannot, that is not her nature to do that. It is in your nature to do it. Because that is the most critical part of our being, of our humanity, of our who we are. We can't knock out that. That is the key there.
And there's a rare moment where she loves herself and she loves her children. And because she's so overflowing with that love, because you did such a great job as a husband or a boyfriend, that you know what? She does love you in a balanced way. But you are supposed to love her with your life, to die for. That is your job. And when you love your wife or you love your woman, and the kids look up and see you loving her, kissing her on the forehead and kissing her on the cheek, instead of putting your hands on her, then those kids realize their worth and how they should be loved and how they should love others. And then there's balance and harmony. But it starts with us men. You have to love her, or else we're going to keep being divided and divided. You know what I'm saying is true. Just send me a heart in the DMs if you agree. If you disagree, I'm ready to hear it too. Men.
If you disagree with me, put it in the comments. I will not read it. I will not read it. But I'm going to say this before we move on to the rest of our discussion about this, right? When the Divine Mother, the Great Mother, sends forth the men, right, to defend the divine feminine energy, the divine men have to be ready to give their life in regards to that. Just the same way in D-Day or in wars, men go off to fight in defense of an idea of freedom or whatever they want to call it. When we move into this place where the Divine Mother, the Supreme Mother, comes into being, and she says, go forth, right? Our mindset should be that is what we were made for. That is what we are here for. That is the epitome of the love of what keeps us as a species, as a being in this reality. I want to transition a little bit to some conversations or some things that have been sent to me, and I want to explain something that will probably make this a lot clearer to what we're doing or what we're going on, what exactly is happening here, right? We use the statement, a lot of people have seen a comment that we say she, right? We say she because we're trying to uproot the matriarch or the patriarch in every form and fashion, right? We understand that words are spells. A lot of things are done that prop up the patriarchy. And so we're trying to use every means to uproot that, right? And so I had a sister, Nicole, send this to me, and I wanted to share with the collective. And I really like it when you guys share things with me, but I got one caveat about that. But I wanted to share this with the collective, right? She sent me this verse, which I thought was very powerful, right? I think that's a very powerful symbol. I'm appreciative of that, right? Of why we say she, why we try to change the narrative. We're trying to change the narrative. It may not fit in everyone's framework just now, but the narrative is changing, not because it is something that we are purposely doing. It's just something that's meant to happen as a cycle. It is time for the feminine divine to take leadership. It's just a cycle, just as the moon and sunrise is a cycle that's supposed to take place. So I wanted to share that with the Conscious Collective because I want this to be part of a larger conversation. And this is why we say she. And I'm going to have to blow this up so I can read off what else she sent, right? That's something else. Hold on. So instead of amen, because we're trying to change the narrative, right? We got a new word, new energy, the same powerful agreement. She is said when you are in agreement. Being in agreement builds the collective energy, all right? To bring back the divine feminine, to use word. I don't use the African ashe. I think ashe is the same sense. I don't use amen. I don't use ashe because I'm all here for the feminine energy. I'm trying to do my part. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. What's my part, right? What is she? She is our new collective affirmation. It means I agree, I receive, so it is. As she wills it, right? And I have no problem with as she wills it because I'm looking for a particular archetype. I know everyone wants to gravitate and say, I'm that. You're the vessel. You still have to incorporate the energy. So I'm looking for a particular archetype as she wills it. It honors the divine feminine. We acknowledge the wisdom, power, and presence of she. Raising our vibration, it shifts the energy centers and speaks life. It builds our culture. I would say builds our community. A new word for a new era, by us, for us. Same purpose as amen. New alignment with who we are. Say it, feel it, live it. So this is something that has resonated with Nicole, and I'm truly honored that she has given us the time to break that down and to share that with the Conscious Collective of why we are changing the way we think and even changing the way we speak, because out of your mouth comes life. And so you have to be very careful what you say, and you have to say things that affirm your divine feminine energy. All right. What role do I play in all of this? Right. I'm going to bring that up before I bring up the other part. I did a series of images. All right. On my IG, if you're not following me on IG, right? Follow me on IG, right? All right. This is a image in regards to the Hierophant. A Hierophant is a archetype, right? This image is the role I play. Oh, so much I want to talk about, right? The role I play in this current timeline, okay? In the feminine divine energy is the role I play in this timeline, right? What the Hierophant, did I say Hierophant? Hierophant does is represents the tradition, spiritual wisdom, and the organized structure and mentorship of the divine feminine. The mentorship of the divine feminine, bringing them back into that current royal divine place. Why do I do it? Because a man took it, a man has to return it. That is a divine law, right? That it has to happen where the knowledge was hidden by men and destroyed by men. Another man has to build it and return it to the divine feminine, right? This is, let me get back to this. So in regards to that, right, I wait in this timeline, and me and Nicole have shared many timelines, and we fight on the astral plane. And I don't want to get too esoterical, but you have to understand that there are many types of existence that are currently taking place at the same time. That took place at a different times. Warriors, different roles we have played, different things we have done, and so right, we have a line in understanding in this timeline the role, okay, the roles that we're playing. So that's why what I'm saying is resonating with a lot of people, right? So playing the role of the Hierophant is the one that brings back the traditional sense of what it used to be, all right? And so this is an archetype waiting for that energy to be encapsulated into the vessel, okay? And that vessel is served, right, in our new state of being and consciousness in 5D. Make sense? So I want to be clear on my role here and what I see it as, right? I am not I'm not going to take a leadership role in the feminine energy, but a more supportive role in that energy, okay? Because it has to combat the masculine energy and be guided on how to correctly combat that energy, all right? And that was missing. That's how I got taken away before, because men stopped defending it from other men. If there are no men to defend it, right, a lot of women don't have the capacity to incorporate it. So to give that space. I hope that resonates for everybody. I'm going to try to bring and explain that a little bit more as we go along, right? So that being said, let me bring this up really quickly. As we look at the DNA, and she sent this to me also, that man was made in the image of God, but we reject her because we lack the knowledge of self, right? We're looking at the black woman, right? They shorten that. Remember I told you words have power, spelling. They shorten it to woman and saying that she was of man, but the correct word is woman, right? That we come from woman. That we look at the mother as father for her and a sister as bruh her. You see that connection and all that to her, to the divine feminine, right? So the thing is that if you look at the chromosome is complete as a female. This is a scientific fact. Go look it up. It's complete as a female, but in a male, it's missing a chromosome. It's actually missing a part of itself. Okay? So I think that's important for us to understand that as we go back, and my role and why I'm sharing this information, right? I thought about that something. We're everywhere and everything in our battles here. We're everywhere and everything on the astral plane, different lives, right? This is just another part of that whole narrative, right? Now, I am asking the divine feminine to be a participant, to actually sit on this throne, right? Because of this next slide, right? I'm not doing this. I'm not. Believe me, I have enough responsibilities and duties of bringing back the rituals and back the sharing information and communicating and the protection and defense that I need for you guys to step up and do these videos and communicate from your divine feminine energy. You can't in this picture, you're not behind the curtain. You're not behind the curtain, right? You sit on the throne. I may whisper in your ear as I see it, but this is your role. She sent me like 3 or 4 of these, and I'm sure it is the wisdom. Women provide the wisdom. Okay, that's not my role. That's not my role. Okay, when you sit on the throne, right, you hold court and you provide the wisdom to the collective in the governance of themselves. Okay, the disputes, the wisdom comes from you, right? I am a supportive role that you have to come up and you have to get them wigs straight or get a clean bonnet or whatever you need to do to take on the role of that seat. Okay. All right. So we talked about the language that we use and how we're moving into a different way of understanding. We understand the biology of it, but you are the wisdom that is surrounding, that is supposed to come forth as I support that. Okay. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I hope that makes sense, right? So as we build out our collective, before we move on to our reading, I ask that people put a number in, and if you get the right number of the 5-card spread, I will give you a free chakra session, try to identify what chakras may be blocked and what else is going on with you. It's usually a 35 to 45 minute session. I usually charge $11.11 for it, but it is available if you can pick the right number during the reading. I want to ask that everyone, if you're joining this, please thumb up this video. Please like the video. All right. That the Conscious Collective, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, please sign up for the newsletter. It's going to help us build a stronger community. We got to be careful of these platforms that we're on because they can pull it away any day now. I was talking to almost 50,000 people on TikTok. TikTok said that, well, here we go then. Here we go. TikTok said they didn't appreciate the communication that I'm sharing now. And it wasn't even as defined as it is now. My topics are now about the rebirth or the reawakening of feminine energy. I think I read once that everyone that's supposed to be awake is awake. Everyone that's awake that's supposed to leave us to a higher conscious are currently awake right now. But I think we move into another phase where we have to put things in order. We have to straighten out our house to move into a 5D. And that's where we enter the feminine divine energy part of this. And I'm always ahead of the curve. You're going to hear more people talking about this. But I'm asking that, if you want to be part of the community and you want to stay connected to like-minded individuals, receive regular community updates, and join the movement of empower human beings, sign up for the newsletter so we are always connected no matter what these platforms do. This is something I should have done before they pulled my legs from underneath me. Let's move into our reading right now and see what kind of guidance we can get from our reading, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed that talk and it resonates with you in some kind of way. But let's move into our reading. And we use the Sacred Oracle card. We do a 5-card spread. The message today that we're going to be trying to delve deep into. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. All right. The glow up was crazy. The glow up was crazy. A lot of us, right, are not where we used to be, but the change has amazed a lot of people. The way you have changed and the way you look, a lot of people are very surprised at it, right? The glow up was crazy. Glow up, I guess, is slang from beautification, intelligence, right? I was reading somebody post the other day, and people commented how amazing she has grown, how different she is, and I think that a lot of us are experiencing that. So I want to see what the universe has to say about it, right? What's next for us? Oh, okay, okay. It's the link is in the description, Bonnie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The link is in the description. Or at least I think I put it in there. Or I know it's on the page, right? On the first page, right? On the home page, right under the title, under my name. And I'm gonna change that image. I'm gonna change that image too. I'm working on that today too. A lot of stuff I'm working on, right? I redid my web page and I'll put that out there too, to support a lot of things that we're working on. That comes from, I'm actually tell you where that comes from, right? That's on my walk day. I was soon to be 28 when I often get, which I often get. Whenever you take care of yourself, the fountain of youth, the tree of life is no mystery. It's taking care of yourself. Okay. It's working out, it's eating right. Right. That is the key to almost reversing aging. Right. I noticed that in my own self. When I start to work out, I start to lose years. When I start to take better care of myself, I start to lose years. Okay. It's no secret. I appreciate that. I didn't even want to say appreciate. I said appreciate. I was trying to say a lot of people are getting on this GL1 kick. All right, taking shots, doing everything but what you're supposed to do. You know what's better than a GL1 shot? Working in the garden. If you ever worked in a garden, you are exhausted, right? You get exhausted working there, working in nature, taking a hike. But people don't want to do that. They want to take these gel shots, right? And I had somebody call me about how well they're looking, you know, because they're taking a gel shot. That don't impress me. I say that often. If you are under 28, 30 years old and you're in shape and you got a six-pack, I'm not impressed. You should have a six-pack. All right. Your metabolism is working like it has nothing else to do. Right. It's not like my metabolism. My metabolism actually quit. Like I'm gone. I'm through. So anything I eat, I'm not even burning up. I have to work extra hard. You know what I mean? I eat one cookie and I'm paying for that for about 6 weeks. Okay. But when you're working out, you're staying fit, right? After a certain age, you can reduce your aging. Just watching your diet, right? And a lot of us are genetically have a predisposition to look younger than our age because of our genetics. I mean, our ancestral genetics, not our personal genetics. Yeah, one cookie. One cookie. And you know the thing is, we're going to get to the reading in a minute, but I'm telling you, fat is so disrespectful. Fat is really disrespectful. It don't never want to go somewhere where you can fake it. Like, why don't you go here, fat? Well, why not drop down here? No. You know, why don't you go here, fat? No, why not go here? Why not make it look like you're pregnant? You just disrespectful, fat. You could be better. All right. That's funny. That's funny. I was thinking about pizza last night on my walk, and I said, take your ass to sleep. That's your higher self. That's your higher self. I was thinking about cereal last night, and I said, I'm gonna go to bed. But your higher self, like, take your ass to bed. All right? Take your ass to bed. All right? That is your higher self, right? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go take a GL shot and find out that a couple years from now it'll totally destroyed our liver or rotted out a brain cell. Stop it, people. Please stop it. All right? Stop it, right? We see the BBLs wrecking havoc, right? We see all this artificial medicine is wrecking havoc on you. So stop it, okay? I don't know. I'm gonna take this GL shot and I'm gonna work out. No, you ain't. No, you ain't, because it requires a lifestyle change. Even when I understand that, even when people get BBLs, you still have to work out. You still have to get fit because it's gonna turn to fat. Fat be inviting fat. You know that? Fat invites fat. You get one fat, it's like it invited his brother fat to live with you. You know? I was looking at my stomach and I was like, man, I had it. I had it. Right? And not that I'm really out of shape, but it's like that's where the actual fountain of youth is, right? I have friends my age, right? And you like, we the same age. What happened to you, bro? What happened to you? Right? Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. So let's look at the reading, right? Oh, you said I gotta go. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said, I read it as, meanwhile, my friend the same time called me ordering pizza and you smacked my head. I don't know what that means. My son laughed at me. I don't know what that means. Shake my head. I think it means smack my head. He said that ain't what that means. He said, I said, I gotta go. I thought you meant I gotta go get this pizza. All right. But you were telling him that he said, why you hang up? I said, because it's called my solitude walk. Enjoy your pizza. And that's another way of getting your peace back, right? Take some time and walk, and just be quiet, and just walk, see what the universe is trying to communicate with you. We're going to get to this reading. We're going to do a foundation card. You guys are having a lot of fun today. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Please thumb up the video. You guys are cracking up. We having fun today. We should be having fun. We on to something here. We are on to something. So let's see what the glow up is. Right? Let's look at the foundation card. Our foundational card, jealousy. Jealousy, right? They were already jealous of you. Our foundation, they were already jealous of you. That's a hell of a foundation card, right? Our glow up, right, is always based in jealousy. Always based in jealousy. They already were jealous of you, right? Right? Name calling, right? Making fun, right? They already were jealous of you. Even before you knew who you are, right? They already were stemmed in jealousy. For some reason, I never understood jealousy. I know it's an emotion that we should experience, but why some people live in it? Why some people live in envy? Why some people live in I never understood why people live in envy of other people or are jealous of other people, right? Why they, I don't know. Like I was at a bar, I was at a party one time, right? And I was just sitting there, and this guy, he just started getting aggressive and wanted to go outside and fight me. And I'm like, dude, I am not even saying anything, right? And I think his girlfriend was looking at me, right? And I think that made him real insecure. So he wanted to, and that goes back to our talk. When you're looking for love, right, that's going to breed insecurity because you're expecting that love, right? And you're expecting what kind of, money you don't put out, what you don't gave, and now you're very insecure about it, right? I never understood jealousy. I get jealous. I don't live in it, right? Like I look at my son, how well he's doing. He has made more money in his lifetime than I made in my lifetime, right? And he gonna tell me, so I started from the bottom. No, you started on my shoulders, bro. You ain't start from the bottom. I can show you the bottom, okay? And I'd be like, oh man, that's jealousy is normal. But then I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his success, right? So we got to, I don't understand why that. Yeah, I don't understand it. If you spend more time working on yourself, right? And jealousy is normal. You just don't live in that. It's like, wow, it should be inspirational. Let that be our foundational card. We're going to have to hurry up because we are running out of time. Karmic path. You were always meant to blow up. The glow up was crazy, right? You're currently in your karmic path, right? She. All right. You're currently in that energy. All right. This is something we are actually in the place that we're supposed to be right now. You're learning the things that you're meant to learn. You're gaining the information. You are living your best life right now. I don't think this is something negative. I think it's something positive because all the other lifetimes, all the other situations brought you here. And you're currently in that current space. Let's see what the future energy is. Thankfulness. The glow up was crazy. The future energy is be thankful for it, to show gratitude for it, right? If you the God is who you pray to. This is the mind-boggling part that people don't understand, right? You the God is you pray to yourself, right? They're getting all your energy to Jesus, giving all your energy to pastor, right? And you should be praying to yourself. It's crazy when you guys get to the point where you receive worship. That's going to be crazy. Where you actually stand in that space of receiving worship. When you in that space of receiving worship, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go because you can't fake this. You can't fake that gratitude. You're the one. Who had that speech? Snoop Dogg. He gave that speech. I want to thank me. Thank yourself. I know you want to thank some man or thank some imaginary figure. You've been taught that way, but show gratitude to yourself. Be thankful to yourself. She. The next card is what we need to understand about this situation. So this is a strange card. It was foundation of jealousy, a path, and thankfulness and gratitude. And this is what we need to understand about the glow up. Friendships. Friendships are real when people loved you before you glowed up. When people were your friends before you became who you are, right? This is what we really need to understand about this, right? That the people that love you in spite of what you have become or what they see you as now. And this is why I tell women, don't be very cautious of men who are just physically attracted to you, who only see your physicality, right? I know our society really emphasizes sexuality and beauty, but you have to be careful of those relationships, right? Because if that's the only thing that keeps somebody interested in you, right, that means that they're lower vibrational energy. They're operating in their lower energy and they haven't recognized the divinity of you. And they're never going to truly worship you fully. Be careful of that. The Divine Mother is not just beautifully physically, she's beautifully spiritually. So what's going to help us understand this? We're kind of rushing this reading. I don't know if you guys want me on longer, or maybe like that's long enough. This is voting day, and they got people who want to look to how to ruin your life more. That's a crazy. I can't wait till we get out of this system. This voting is a crazy system, right? The Divine Mother doesn't govern like this. It's not about voting. You already respect her and her energy. You know she wants the best for you, and you accept that. I know that, sister. I know that. Mercedes, you said no? You don't want to hear no more from me? Listen, I'll let you know that. I appreciate that love and light. And the thing is, you give your number out, they just sell it to everybody. All they do is page you all day long. It's like that Amber Alert, right? You get that Amber Alert, like you're supposed to run out and looking for a car or something. You're like, where they at? Where's she at? Where's she at? You know? And the crazy part is you didn't opt into it. The government decided that, oh, we need to make everyone aware of this. On my phone that I pay the bill on, you're going to send me a text, but you ain't going to send me no money. Just not longer. Why is that, Mercedes? Why is that? You have things to do and I'm a distraction? Is that what it is? Oh, I get it. Okay. I get it. I appreciate that. I guess that is as they say, is that a compliment? Some guy told some woman she looked like Tootle the Turtle. And he said, is that a compliment? The last card, what's going to get us through this? What's going to help us understand this is time. Time is what's going to help us understand this, right? The jealousy was there. This is part of your path. Be grateful to you. Stop sending that praise outside of you, right? Send it to your womb. Send it to your inner self. Send it to your higher self. Be grateful for you. There is no God but you. There is no other God but you. You are the creator. You breathe life into man. All right, where does life come from? Life comes through you. You're the vessel of that energy that comes forth. That's so sweet. I'm just trying to awaken you guys to what is ordained, what is going to happen. Whether you take part in it or not, it's still going to happen, okay? It's still going to happen. The one that takes the most from this is the one that steps the most into her divine energy. That is the great mother. The one who receives it is the one that steps fully into it, becomes the great mother in this plane of reality. Maybe I shouldn't let that part out. The friendships only matter when someone truly sees you for who you are. Don't get confused by the glow up. Don't be swept up in the glow up because you're a baddie now, right? You get caught up in there, right? And that becomes your identity. Don't let that be your identity because that brings false friendships. Time, right? We look at time as something linear, something that occurs, but there's only now, right here and now. You were always who you were meant to be. You were always that same person. Even though outside of you, they see something else, right? But remember, you are still that person. You still need to work. You still need healing, right? You still need to do what you need to do. But you've always been that person. This is nothing new to you, right? The glow up is not new to you. Let's look at the numbers. 41. She. Mercedes, I got 4144. Did you say 41 first and then change it to 44? Because we have 41. $17. 35 808 and 20 and 23. There is some misalignment here because we did this yesterday and I keep misunderstanding you. There's some misalignment there. So it was 41. So you got it. 41. I will be in touch with you today. Okay? We can schedule some times. All right? We can schedule some time. It's a misalignment. I really misunderstand you a lot. I really do. Someone's off frequency. Somebody's off frequency. Either me or you. All right. That's been a lot. That has been a lot. I hope something said resonates with you in your journey. Right? She. I hope something that helps you navigate life, something that gives you a perspective that you may not have thought about before. If it did not resonate with you, it was not for you. It was not meant for you. It was maybe never meant for you. All right. You can leave it where it's at. You can trust me. You can leave it where it's at. All right. But I want to say that I am thankful and grateful you guys allow me to share my perspective. I explained, Nicole, that's my job as a Hierophant. I am supposed to bring back into reality that divine feminine energy. All right, but you have to be that voice, and we're going to work on that. Thank you, Mercedes. We're going to have to work on your voices. We're going to have to work on the forefront. The wisdom comes from you guys. I am just acting as that medium now. That is not my role. Right? That is not my role. I'm just acting in that place now. But I want to wish everyone love, light, health, and wellness in their journey. I'll be talking to you soon, Mercedes. Yes, I will be talking to you soon. We already have some business that we're working through. And so we're going to add that into the mix. The divine wants us to be in that space. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Okay. So you guys have a great day. All right. Love and light in your journeys.